Right to this, a suggestion via a channel member. Let's check it out. Let's jump into it, guys.
First, a talk show host goes dark. ABC pulling Jimmy Kimmel off the air indefinitely following a flood of criticism over his comments on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Here's what he said that's landed him in so much hot water.
Play the whole thing.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and
But he wasn't.
doing everything they can to score political points from.
So the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, heard that and putting Kimmel's suspension in context last night. He's arguing that late night shows alienate the audience and the affiliates who carry their program by giving priority to politics over comedy.
A lot of these affiliate groups said, to your point, we're tired of carrying this stuff. Late night shows, something's gone seriously awry there. They went from being court jesters that would make fun of everybody in power to being court clerics and enforcing a very narrow political ideology. And Nexstar, as you noted, stood up and said, look, we have the license and we don't want to run this anymore. We don't think it serves the interests of our community. Sinclair did the same thing. So there's more work to go.
Okay, a lot of layers on this. Laura Ingram's got the big picture
Let's
in a
break it
moment here,
down.
but first to the story and the reporting. Out of Los Angeles, William LaJeunesse begins our coverage. And William, hello to you.
Good morning, Bill. You know, for some more context, right? So you had two of ABC's largest station groups decide to pull Kimmel's show before ABC actually acted. And I'll show you where those stations are and why viewers there don't necessarily share Kimmel's hard left worldview.
Okay.
So we have some video here of Kimmel leaving his show yesterday in that plaid shirt, black hat. You also had Brendan Carr, as you mentioned, chairman of the FCC, slam Kimmel's remarks. So what makes this complicated is the FCC must approve the sale of some of those ABC affiliates. And what critics say really is happening is ABC and indirectly the Trump administration is censoring Kimmel to get that sale approved.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jimmy, I feel bad for the people that work here, and I feel really bad for our First Amendment rights, which we are, this, say something that you don't agree with, and then this happens.
Others upset include the AC.
The audacity of someone on the left saying anything like this is absolutely wild, knowing that Charlie Kirk was just speaking his specific opinion and the opinion of millions of other people specifically, and then his life was taken. Then, later on that day, or a couple of days later specifically, Jimmy Kimmel then gets on the TV and starts talking absolute blasphemy kind of regarding Charlie Kirk. It's interesting that you would say that, sir. But either way.
ACLU, the Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, which said, quote, democracy thrives when diverse points of view are expressed. Well, one place you won't find that is Jimmy Kimmel. He's a partisan Democrat, and you played what he said on Monday. Well, the following day, Tuesday, he compared Trump's grieving for Charlie Kirk as, quote, how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish. Crazy, right? And if for accuracy's sake, Tyler Robinson's own mother says her son is politically left. Not MAGA. He's pro-gay and trans rights.
Right. That was pretty obvious based off all the messages that we saw. And, you know, obvious, very obvious.
ABC did not attempt to correct that record, but FCC's Carr did.
To see that America's broadcasters are standing up to serve the interests of their community. We don't just have this progressive foie gras coming out from New York and Hollywood.
So, no, he referred to a company called Nexstar, right? They are a major owner of ABC stations that said it would preempt Kimmel's program because, quote, we do not believe Kimmel's insensitive remarks reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of our local communities in which we are located. So take a look at this map. It shows the cities in which Nexstar has affiliates. As you can see, many are in the South and some in the Midwest. They are in orange. Now let's go to the second reveal. Sinclair Broadcasting, which also took Kimmel off the air, those are in red. So you have some stations, both Sinclair and Nexstar, taking Kimmel off the air.
We still have free speech, but if you're putting a television show on, broadcasting to millions of people nationwide, and you're telling lies, sure, you can do that. That's free speech, but there are consequences to it.
That's valid.
So I heard a connected Hollywood reporter say last night in the local affiliate bill that this is temporary, that Kimmel is a beloved member of the ABC family, and he'll be giving an apology and then back on the air when this blows over, Don't know. We'll see. Okay.
Yeah, guys, I definitely believe that is true. I don't think Jimmy Kimmel's gone. I do understand that many people are out here saying that, yeah, he's done, is indefinitely, based off some of the reportings that you guys have sent me specifically. I can tell a lot of people believe that. But I think at the end of the day here, guys, Jimmy Kimmel is not gone. I think this is a slap on his wrist.
Okay, thank you, William, for that, setting the table for us. And Laura Ingraham, welcome to our broadcast today. Good morning to you. I mentioned a lot of layers on this a moment ago. Last night, Variety was reporting that Kimmel was going to go on the air and address the comments, but according to their reporting, he wasn't going to apologize. That was last night, okay? Kimmel's comments came on Monday night, so that's 3-4 days ago, about MAGA that we played a moment ago. It was on Sunday when Governor Cox from Utah did several Sunday talk shows and talked about the leftist ideology. So go ahead and address this as we try and formulate our ideas about what is next here.
Well, first of all, Bill's report was so informative because you saw where those station groups operate. So a lot of Midwest stations, Virginia, some in the South, a few on, in the mountain states. But that's the American audience that the ABC station groups that are involved here are supposed to serve, right? So they're making a business decision, ABC, for now at least. And I agree. He might very well be back on.
Yeah, he's going to
be
back, guys.
But they're making a business decision that these comments are going to lose them money. And Sinclair said, Sinclair Station Group said, unless Kimmel apologized and made a donation to Charlie Kirk's family or Turning Point, they're not interested. He's off.
Okay.
It was pretty clear from Sinclair.
Yeah, guys, I definitely do not think that they're gonna lose any money with Jimmy Kimmel on TV because, guys, he's been on TV. Were they losing money with him on TV? No, guys, they were. The people that are being served in those areas, some of those areas that were listed there, guys, they're not watching him anyway, right? So that's not even the point here. Don't worry about that being a thing. They were not watching him anyway.
The Nexstar merger, I see what the left is doing. They're saying, well, Trump administration censoring Kimmel because Nexstar wants to get the approval from the FCC. And then Brendan Carr went out on Hannity and Benny Johnson's show, and he seemed to put his finger on the scale here against Kimmel.
Okay.
Well, I want everyone to understand this. The 1934 Federal Communications Act does require, or allow, I should say, the government to cancel broadcast licenses for the old broadcast networks if they determine that the broadcast network fails to serve the public interest. So failure to serve the public interest is a grounds, and obviously extreme cases, for canceling or revoking a broadcast license. Now, that is a very extreme penalty. I personally think it would be best if Brendan Carr had just probably stayed off television yesterday and let the market do the work, because I think the market's becoming very efficient here with these far left comedians. I think their audience is shrinking. I think their influence is very narrow. And I think these station groups were reacting to their audience. The people.
Okay, guys. Okay, hold on. Depending on where the comedy show, let's say, is, you'll start to realize that that's probably what the area wants. It just so happens that this is a nationally syndicated show, right? So it's being put into the living rooms of people in places that have no interest or care in the world, let's say, about any of the things that people in big cities are dealing with or going through. Just understand this here. That's kind of what it is, right? Large scale here. There are a gigantic amount of people who love Jimmy Kimmel. There are a gigantic amount of people who loved Kamala Harris and loved all the other, like AOC, Ilhan Omar, like all of the left-leaning superheroes, okay? They are loved. All right, so we need to kind of get to the point where we understand that not everyone specifically is like you, right? Like, you get what I'm saying here, guys? Not everyone has the same exact ideology. We are not we shouldn't attempt to foster echo chambers, but I think people generally tend to feel more comfortable in echo chambers. It actually takes actual serious strength to break through your echo chamber, specifically if everyone that around you specifically has the same exact political ideology, thought processes, gender, et cetera, all these things here. And I do think that some of the times when you guys send me videos, it's coming from a very narrow perspective also. Jimmy Kimmel's is super narrow perspective. And I would say that his perspective lives on TikTok, right? Like that's TikTok, Gen Z, California, New York City. That's the perspective that they generally have, but America isn't California or New York, right? And the guys, I grew up in New York. I want you to understand kind of what that is, right? Right. So America is not one singular thing. And I do notice a lot of people on the right tend to say that no one wants this. There's actually a gigantic amount of coastal elites on each side that want all of the things that they're saying. They really mean that, guys. And they mean that. And if you have a different perspective, you are a literal monster, and you probably shouldn't have the ability to talk. So just understand, like there are people who want it. It just is not the people who are watching Fox. Basically, they don't want it, right? I mean, they want it, but Fox people they don't want it. If that makes any sense here. Like, we have to understand that things are different. Things are not the same. America specifically is not a monolith here. Like, there are multiple groups coming together to make this American experiment. Let's just say this here. All right. And it has become a very interesting experiment since the 1970s. Okay. There's a pinpoint it's like a pin. You can put it in the 1970s and be like, yeah, that's when things started getting crazy. All right. Super crazy. But either way, listen, if you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I will catch you guys later.